What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fi. She should be joining me shortly. We're going to be talking about this MLB slate. Then we're going to jump into a little bit of NBA, and probably I'll probably get out of here in the next half hour or so. But again, want to remind everybody, I'll update everybody in the premium channels what I'm doing everywhere. But I'm still rebuilding just from earlier because the players who are out and whatnot. I'm going to save this one just for now, and then we're going to go through what I'm actually doing once I just get this thing saved, because you guys know me and my OCD. I have to make sure that I don't have lineups with people who are not in it, because I've been burned by that before. On FanDuel, I'm playing 150 in the $3. What am I playing on FanDuel? Just before I say what I'm playing, these are the tournaments that I'm playing, just so you guys get an idea of what I'm actually doing this on. Yeah, the monster, I have 2, and then 15 in the squeeze and 150 in the rally. Maybe a little biased because I've won the rally a few times, so going that way today. Anyway, all right. So here we are over there. I'm just going to save this, and then I'm still going to make some tweaks, but this is just where I'm at as of right now. We talked a little bit this morning about what we want to do, and like I said, with baseball, things don't change all that much. Yeah, you might get a bad lineup in every now and then, but it's or not a bad, you might get a couple of the main guys out, so it might change your feelings about the lineup, but it's really not going to change all that much from the morning. And I'm starting to think even whether it'd be better to just do like just one show a day. I'm not even sure. Let me know what you guys think. You guys seem to like the early ones, so for right now, we'll keep doing them. But anyway, just some food for thought here. Just want to make sure I got that right. Okay, so let me. All right, so this is my FanDuel as of right now, and it's going to change a little bit. But as I mentioned earlier, I know Bubic is going to be popular. I'm going to be even a little bit higher on him than most of the field. I would like to get to a little bit more Bassett. That's one I don't mind. Oops, overweighting a little bit. Maybe a little bit higher. I'm not a big fan of the Sanchez play today. I don't like fucking with the Mets if I can help it, and I'm going to curse because I think I'm allowed to here. I don't know. I don't curse that much, but we'll do it every now and then. But yeah, Bubic is going to be heavily my highest owned pitcher as of right now. I'm playing like 2 in the big one, and I think it's most likely going to be Bubic and Ober. I think Fott deserves a little bit of consideration. I'm just going to sort by one thing I love about this SaberSim stuff is the quality start stuff, the likelihood of home runs. And you see, I think that, and Sanchez definitely has the leash, but Fott right beneath him. I think that's kind of another interesting way to go. Get a little bit of exposure there, get a little bit more of the Bassett. And who was the other one? Oh, Jordan Hicks is the other one that I think at almost no ownership just has the upside to get there, as does Blanco. So I'm going to take some shots with those guys and see where I end up by the end of it, but I'll rerun things in a little bit. I did weight a little bit of the team stacks that I wanted. It's tough because Texas and the A's are going to be really popular, and right now that's what I'm getting to in my builds. I'm probably going to switch over and get to a little bit more of the stacks talked about earlier. My favorite of those being Philly, and just making sure I have at least. I really think Philly is getting overlooked, and I'm not entirely sure why outside of the pricing on DraftKings. This is on FanDuel, which is a reminder. But this is sort of what I've got going right now. Again, I'm going to make sure. I think I'm going to end up with the most of Philly. I think Philly will be in my high buy-ins. And I think Texas and Oakland as a side stack is fine, because if you look at Philly, we don't have that much ownership. Oops, let me go to batters. It's not quite as high as I feel like it should be. Like, I think this is a really good spot, and I am going to take that chance. So I'm definitely going to be overweight the Philly side of things. Minnesota, Arizona, Oakland, Texas. Those are the other main ones. The other one I didn't get to as much in the first builds was Arizona, and I would like to get to more than I got 12%. It's not that bad. As far as stack types, you can see mostly pretty much the standard. I don't mind being a little bit different. It's probably a little bit too high on the 3-2-2s. I'd like to get to more 4-4s, but I'm gonna rerun things after I make some tweaks and see where I'm at. And then I'll jump over to DraftKings in just a minute, making sure that with these new lineups coming in, that nothing else is different. Arizona looks like there's lineups out. I'll jump over to DraftKings, and then any questions or thoughts you guys have along the way. I do expect Sheets to join me, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll see in a minute. But this is what I got to on my first builds. Again, not using a ton of pitchers considering the size of the slate. It's heavy Bubic, heavy Ober. I think you could make an argument for spreading out a little bit more than I am. And the other ones that I'm just, again, I didn't get to any fought in my last run. I definitely want to have at least some of that. So I'm going to make a couple changes. And I might even cap if Bubic, I don't know, I need more than 80% of it. 80% feels like a pretty good number. But again, not playing as many lineups today. Got 40 in the relay, the lottery, 20 in the $4, one of the 888s, two of the 250s. And I'm pretty sure in the 250s and the 888s, I'm going to be using Philly, Minnesota, Arizona to go with some of the Oakland and Texas that I was talking about. But it is weird with the size of the slate to not have as many pitchers. On a 6-game slate yesterday, I had even more pitchers than I'm using on a 10-gamer today. So it's a little bit funny. But I'm still tweaking around with it. Again, let me just jump back over to the build and see where we're at. Again, guys, please like and subscribe and check out the packages. We do have, our trials going, and I would hope that you guys would take a look at that. Again, even if you've used them before, you can use them again. And I think it's a pretty awesome thing to have for a few days. So also we have NBA, with some real tournaments and pretty fun NBA stuff going on for the playoffs. I love the NBA postseason so much that I will be heavily involved in that. Let's just take a quick look at the team stacks. And yeah, so you can see we're getting to Minnesota the most. Philly, Texas, Oakland. And then I don't love, again, that I'm not getting the most of the 5, but it's close enough. The 4-2s and the 4-3s are okay with me. 4-2-2s, the 4-4s, those are where I want to be. I don't really love this other stuff. I haven't come quite close enough to Xing it out yet because I've won little lottery tournaments with weird stacks like that. And that is one way you can utilize, playing the Texas and Oakland is, I've done it before with Coors, is like just have my stacks be 4-man. In terms of the types of stack exposures, the team stacks, let me just see the 5-man stacks, because you can see I'm not getting quite as much, and I think that's what I'm going to probably end up tweaking. I would like to go Philly at least 10% on that, and I would like to get Arizona up to a few percent, at least a few, maybe a little bit higher I could argue for going. And then we have the Minnesota. Where's my Minnesota? Minnesota, Texas, and Oakland. I want more as 4-man. So those would be the ones I wouldn't look for. Maybe I'll just go to 5% because I'm not asking for that many things here. But on the bigger sites, I do prefer going the 5-man. I'm more open than Sheets is to going the other way a little bit. All right. Let's jump into some NBA. Unless anybody has any questions or thoughts about baseball, I'm just going to jump straight over to NBA. And let's see what we've got here. All right. So I did tweak a few of the projections. Again, this is too high on Turner a little bit for me. I like Miles Turner in this matchup. I feel like the projections like him, but I don't think we have to just automatically plug him in. So I might even lower him a little bit more than this just to get a little bit less. This is what I got in my last build. And I think that there's an argument for going other ways. I love Giannis and I love Luka tonight. Can we get to both of them? It's going to be tricky. I don't know that you can do it easily. I think they're both tremendous plays. Like I said, I think Luka scores 40+ real life points tonight. I think the Lakers are going to, that's going to be the focus of their offense, obviously, for good reason. And I'm just, again, it's really hard to get different. You can see why I got to Brolo at 19%. He's like the one guy sub 10% that I've got double digits of. Oh no, yeah, that's right. And then I also think I can make a case here for Aldama. I think this projection is a little bit low, and I want to go a little bit higher on it. And you guys remember, I don't do the min maxes as much with basketball. Sometimes on a two or three gamer, I will, but I prefer just changing the projections a little bit. We'll make Giannis 62. We don't have to make him. Most of Giannis's biggest games of his career have come against this Indiana team, so hard not to have some interest there. You can see Goldie's got the Halliburton projection higher than Saber Sim, so I kind of went there a little bit. Let me just make sure I've got this, and there's nobody. Yeah, I've got Saber Sim. I'm going to switch over to Goldie and Sheets' projections once Goldie does his final update, and let's just see, or Sheets does. Either one of them I'll use, but we aren't usually about an hour out. That's when Goldie has his done. So as you can see, though, like again, getting to the first game quite a bit. Obviously, with the highest total, should be the best pace. I guess it's pretty much the same total as OKC Memphis. The question is, can Memphis stay close? So we talked about it yesterday, and the smartest thing I did for my NBA was don't be too recency bias. Like, remember, just because Michael Porter Jr. didn't play at the end of game 1 doesn't mean he's not going to play at the end of game 2. And what did we see? We saw Michael Porter playing at the end of game 2 and playing extremely well. And Michael Porter Jr. on a 2-game slate was like 8% owned. I had him captain, and I was in first place for like 16-5, tied with not too many other people until like the last couple minutes of the game. So had a real shot last night with the getting contrarian. And I think OKC is going to kill them in this series. I just want to make that like absolutely clear. I also think the fact that these guys aren't going to get the love, maybe you try to get a little bit more exposure here. Ja Morant, I mean, I know all the prices are down because of the thing, but Ja Morant, I know he's banged up. I know it's terrible matchups. No matter what, Lou Dort on him, it's a nightmare. But it is appealing to me, this 7,800 price tag a little bit. If this game just stays reasonably close, Bane had one of the worst games in human history in the last game. Again, SaberSim's got him a little bit higher than Goldie does. Same with Bane, same with Ja. But I'm just making little tweaks to guys I think might be a little bit forgotten. And I think Aldama, we're going to go on a weird, I actually think I can make this even a little bit higher. I do want some of that low ownership with Aldama. I think there's upside for him here. And the question is, how will it fit in? Scottie Pippen Jr. has been really good this year. I'm not obsessed with this ED thing. I prefer Turner to ED, but I'm open to if you want to take some shots with ED. I think there's a chance ED might get played off the court, and I also think there's a chance you might get to a little bit of the Bagley. Now, I know he played well in because of the blowout, but this game could be a blowout too. Don't be surprised if you see them do something different. And look, I'm not going to get to these guys because they're not projected to play much. But if you wanted to get creative and you're playing 150, maybe making sure you have a percent or two of one of like Bagley, Williams, or Kennard is not the worst idea, just because things do change with rotations in the playoffs in a major way. And sometimes it's hard to see where them coming. I hate that I'm getting this much Caruso. It's because of the value. And I think this projection by SaberSim is too high. I'm much closer to Goldie's projection. I think that's going to get me a little bit less. But again, I have to get to some of these plays. I like Cason Wallace almost as much as Caruso. So that's one way I can get a little bit different, is playing almost as much, not quite, let's make it 15 and we'll get a little bit of him that way. And I actually think this Caruso thing is it's just because I needed the value. I bumped up Luka's and Giannis's projection, so it's hard to go against it. Jaden McDaniels was terrific in game 1. He has that upside in him. I do like that. I'm not bumping him up. It's 0.03 that I'm bumping him. It's not a huge number. Edwards, I think this game is going to be tougher on them, and I think that you're going to see more Anth Edwards, and I think that you're going to see plenty of Randall. I like the idea of just trying to get a little bit different in little places that I could tweak. Interestingly, the no Gobert ownership in my first run and the no Conley, who's cheap. I don't love that. I think that there's upside for both of them, and I think that the SaberSim projections are a little conservative in my opinion. So go in that direction with this. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker played really well in the first game. I think that 17 is closer to where I'd want to have him at. So one of Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker would be another way you can get a little bit different. I'm going to treat it like a Luka game. It very well could be a LeBron game. I didn't get in my first builds because the pricing and ceilings are hard to come by. I do think that you're going to see one of those guys explode. I'm sure it could be Austin Reeves, but I think you're going to see one of them. And you're going to see some changes in maybe the rotation. I think you might see some more Gabe Vincent minutes. I think you're going to see more Vanderbilt minutes. This is my Laker take. I think you want to see more Vanderbilt on the court. And again, I'm not sure I'm going to end up getting to him in DFS. There are 3 games. If there was 2, I know I'd be getting some. I'll play him in some showdown. But I just think it makes sense to get to some Vanderbilt exposure because the Lakers haven't really figured out what to do. And I think we could also expect more. I like where SaberSim has Dorian Finney-Smith. I think 19 is probably about right for a reasonable median. But Vanderbilt, they couldn't stop anything last game. And a lot of it, Minnesota was hitting everything. I think there's a chance that Vanderbilt, actually plays real minutes. And obviously, I don't think they're necessarily going to change. The other one that's been speculated is the Jackson Hayes. I don't know what to do, but they're going to have to do something different for sure. But between Hayes and Vanderbilt, Hayes is obviously a better fantasy producer, but I think the minutes are more likely to go to Vanderbilt's way. So I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm still in figure out mode for some of this stuff. This is on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'm a little more straightforward. Gonna change things. Goldie did he update? No, that was yesterday. Wait, what is that? No, that's right now. Okay, so he just updated the NHL, and we'll have MLB from Goldie in a minute. So I will use Goldie's averaged out with SaberSim. I might even average Sheets in there as well. Oh yeah, Sheets did his NHL update, but he didn't do the MLB yet. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, all right. So let's try and rebuild and sort of get an idea of where we're looking at. I don't think you need to leave this. This is NBA. Like it's not gonna necessarily leave that much on the table, but I don't want to even tempt with it. Like it just feels. I see how you could win the lottery with like a weird lineup, like if you play like the Bagleys in the last game because of the blowout. That's the way that it happens, where he becomes as valuable as like a 5K guy. But I just think I don't want it more than I don't think I'm going to end up with 3,000 even on the table. But I don't like the spread, how the default settings are for this NBA slate. So I would rather it be much tighter. In fact, I think you could argue that it should be 48-5 and 48-5 to 50, maybe 48 to 50. For the playoffs. The only reason you could say it's lower is because this potential massive blowout with Memphis and OKC. Well, Memphis is going to show up to play one of these games. I actually think Memphis is good. That was my hot take for the series is OKC will win the series 4-1 and win every game by 20 or more points. But the game they lose, they'll lose by 20 or more. That's my bold take for that OKC Memphis series. All right, let's see what we've got going. And then if I don't hear from Sheets, I'm just going to assume he's not going to be here. And by the way, we're transferring some more stuff over to more premium content than we are. So like there may be less videos in the near future. So really do like and subscribe. We want to still do some free ones, but we're really thinking about like, trying to cater to our subscriber base and not focus as much on just giving everything away for free. I know I'm doing some of that right now, but again, these are going to change, and I'm going to let everybody know exactly where I'm at in our Discord. All right, so that bumped Ja up to 64% ownership. That feels a little aggressive. 40. That's really weird. I guess that I'm getting less of the Luka and the Giannis now. That's the thing, huh? Yeah, that's not quite enough. So we're going back to 63, and we're going with Luka. I just think this. I think we got to assume that Luka's median projection is higher than 58. I really do, especially in this kind of a game. I might just go 50. Let's make it. I think it should probably be closer to 60. But then again, Giannis. How do I get them both in? That's going to be the name of the game. I just named some very speculative ways to do it, and they are just that. They are extremely speculative. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to end up fitting that in. So just trying to change that. Ja, we went back to the 41.2. I actually still like him at 42. It just feels weird to get that much of him. Jaden McDaniels, I basically stuck with the SaberSim thing, but we're getting a bunch of him. I don't mind that. The interesting thing is I do like that we'll have some decisions I can make for the late swap. I'm not thrilled that we only have the one game with this one period of time here. We will know what happens essentially in the first two games, you would think, by the time we have to, rebuild and all that. But I don't know. I still feel wishy-washy of what I'm going to do. I always say game 3 is my favorite game, my favorite one. So maybe that's why I'm a little wishy-washy. But obviously, I think the bulk of what you're doing is going to be the Milwaukee-Indiana game like it was before for me. And I actually think that's the game you want to focus on the most. I'm just going to make sure I've got a minimum of 25 of that game stacked. And but to do that, that means I'm going to bump this up to at least 48.5. Not 8,500, 48.5. And then let's see if we rebuild it where we're at. I just am not buying that. So what did Luka put up the other night when he had 41 and in a game they just got smashed in? I just feel like the right thing to do is to get to some of that. That's just where I'm at. I will take a quick look at the weather. Shout out to Roth. He does a great job. I'm going to take a look at his updated weather for the Atlanta game in baseball. I'm going to guess that he's got yellow. He's at the Dodgers game, yellow. Not much wind in Chicago. Pretty optimistic of chances of playing ball in Atlanta. We never really saw widespread. And I think you throw Atlanta into the mix as one of the stacks. Then he's got it at yellow, which is fine. It's just have some other ones that are really good too. So let's see what we got with the latest build on DraftKings here. And then I'll run through FanDuel. And if there's no questions, I'll probably get out of here. But again, like, subscribe, all those things. Let us know anywhere in the channel if you want to. We're making changes. We're building, and we're swapping over to a new site. So let us know anything you guys would like to see, and we'll do our best to try to accommodate you. All right, let's see what we've got. And okay, I don't mind the DiVincenzo thing because the minutes and the price is just hard to avoid. And that's even using SaberSim's projections, not Goldie's, which has got them even higher. Okay, so now we're getting the Luka. All right, just run it. Well, now we're getting the Luka. So a lot more from the later game, and a lot of this Memphis is showing up. I'm still trying to grapple with this. It's a little tough. This feels a little high. We'll go to 26, sort of split somewhat of the difference. I just think Ja at that price this is a good number for him. I just don't love how much of this I'm getting, but I like the contrarianness of it. So I guess that's what I'm coming up with. In my big buy-ins, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to stick with mostly focusing on the Indiana-Milwaukee game. Rody says, yeah, I went back to MLB part. I don't know what that means. I guess, he went back to listening to that part of it. I got you. That's where you're listening from. But happy to talk about any more of the MLB. I just don't really have anything else to offer because I sort of just showed what I was doing, said what I liked, and that's why we moved on to basketball. Gonna make less changes and more gambles on the FanDuel one because I'm only playing 100 in the lottery for basketball, and I'm just gonna rebuild and see where I'm at. Oh my God, this projection, where did that come from? The lowering Luka's down 57 feels about right. Giannis at 60, that should be good enough. Let's go back to just a little bit above 60. Maybe you could argue for 61. That's not a big difference. Luka. Okay. Let's rebuild and see where it leaves us on FanDuel. And I'm going to be willing to make more, look, it's a $5 tournament with 1 million people. You want to try and find a way to win it, taking more stances. And I think this is where maybe they give me that I wouldn't mind the Memphis part so much. Because you are going to get lower ownership. I actually don't think it's going to be even as high as it's being projected right now. And they always have that weird card. They can throw in a Vince Williams. All right, so getting to some, I'll go up on Aldama a little bit because I think this projection's too low. I like it around 23. I'm going to rebuild again, actually, because before I run the Sims. But it should be, like, again, the defaults are too low. But the only reason I care is because I'm going to make some changes in them. And what I'm going to do over here, because I'm just playing the lottery, is try to get overly exposed. And again, that's what they're giving me. They're already doing it to the Memphis and OKC game, and just hope this is a game where Memphis is on fire and they can hang in there. And now let's rebuild and sort of see where we're at. All right. Anybody let me know anything baseball or whatever related. I'm going to go back to the projections. Goldie's updated everything now for MLB. And looks like Sheets did too for DK. So I'm going to go back over there and figure out where we're at. All right. Let's see. Any prediction on who my highest owned player is going to be? I think it should be Luka. Like, this price on Luka is... I don't understand how I'm not getting to more of Luka when I bumped him up. Oh, I bet I will after this. They run the Sims. Yeah, there it is. 82%. I like it. I'm not as in love with this Conchar idea, but again, I need the value because of my bump up. So that's what they're giving me. I don't love this number. This feels off as a median. We'll leave it at 18. Still feels high. Pretty close, maybe 17.5, which would be the number. Aaron Neesmith, who I will certainly get the minutes. I don't know that we need to load up on him like this, but I guess that's what you get when you try and ask for Giannis and Luka. So going to have to deal with it a little bit. But, You can see the Memphis pieces are going to trickle in no matter how we slice it. Again, I mentioned I'm going to bump up the Aldama 31%. That feels good to get a little bit different. I will bump up the Bagley because there is the blowout possibility. I don't think they're just going to let him run out there, although he was obviously the one who played best. It's not going to matter if I change Vince Williams and Luke Kennard, but I'm telling you, it's not the worst idea if you wanted to, if you're hand building one lottery lineup to get some exposure to if you're hand building 10, if you're hand building whatever, to get some exposure to these guys who just no one thinks can possibly get there. It's still early and there's going to be a lot of adjustments made. That's all I can say. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish my build so I can update the Discord. And good luck to everybody tonight. I will be in the Discord sweating. We've got a company meeting later on. So after that, I'll check back in with everybody. Anyway, good luck to you guys tonight. And let us know in the Discord any ways you want to improve the site because we are making changes. And there's a lot of great information there. We've got the Pay Dirt partnership. We've got the SaberSim partnership. All of Goldie and Cheetah's projections, which are awesome. Myself, Rody's playbook, Brandon Cruz for NASCAR. We got a really good team, and we're just charging literally like a fraction more than SaberSim already. So you get all that, and you get our stuff if you join us. So good luck to everybody, and I hope you crush it tonight, and we'll see you guys soon.